So I recently promised myself I would stop serving on the HopUp app because I just keep getting new replicas. So I went on the HopUp app and I got something. And we're going to unbox it together and then see what kind of quality it's in. And we'll take our first looks at it. And I'll show you my general overview and plans and my general first impressions. And then, and only then, after that, we'll make a separate video where we do a whole review like we always do. Man, am I excited. Let's get into the box. It looks like, I don't know if this is the box that this replica is supposed to come in. I will give you a hint ahead of time because I'm probably going to black out the thumbnail. This is a GHK. I forget how many mags he said it came with. I remember talking to him and he said, weirdly enough, there were some AEG mags in here. And this is not an AEG, this is a gas blowback. But he said there was AEG mags in there, and I guess he packed them with it and didn't realize that they were in there until after he got home. He's like, why did I even include those or something? I don't remember. I was talking to him on the HopUp app in the messaging section. So there should be some AEG mags. I don't even know what kind they're going to be or if I'm going to have any, like, where to use them or who knows. So we're just going to get into this. Yeah, okay. So there's some AEG mags. They're high caps. I'm never going to use these, honestly. I hate high caps. I hate the rattling. I don't know. If anyone wants these, let me know. Oh, boy. Are those the dirt cheap BBs, too? Oh, no. These are like the Dick's Sporting Goods BBs. These are obviously M4 mags. I don't know what company makes these. SRC. All right, if anyone wants some high cap mags, let me know. I'll just send them to you. Whoever mentions they want them first. There it is. All right. The GHK G5. This is another... Yeah, bro, this is another high cap mag. This is a different one. It's blue. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to use these. I don't need those. All right, so we got the GHK G5, which is so cool. It came with a couple attachments, and it looks like it also came with 2 mags. Weirdly enough, one is a tan and one is a black, so that's kind of cool. Not a big deal. Now, I'm totally new to the GHK G5 platform. Obviously, this is GHK's like take on the Evo. Got a scope here, the Wrap 4. Oh, this is a cheap scope. I can already tell, I'm pretty sure. It's obviously got no battery left. That's a cheap scope. I don't think this is anything fancy. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Maybe this is like weirdly enough a $500 scope and I'm just losing my mind. But if I like, just from the looks of it, I could see the glass. It's a cheap boy. Whatever. We're really here for the G5. I will tell you how much I paid for this. We got this weird little, I guess, foregrip. I don't know. I'm not gonna say what it looks like. And then the G5, which is what we're really here for. So let me pull this out and I will... Wow. Okay, hold on. Why is that so light? That's extremely light. That is like extremely light. We'll get the box out of the way. Here is the GHK G5. And it looks like there is a small little tag on it. We'll pop that off. I have some cool plans with this as well as upgrades that I'm going to be throwing on here too in the near future. Looks like we got a shush can on or off. What do you mean on or off? Is this a tracer as well? I picked this up for, I believe, okay, so when these were first selling, I believe they were sub 200. And then at one point in time, they started increasing in price like everything else in the airsoft market. Jeez, is that a maple leaf? I didn't expect there to be such a long barrel on the inside of that. So these were originally going for cheaper than 200, and then things started to increase price, and now I think they sell for just like under 4 or like 350. I picked this up for 250 with everything that you see. I think this is a tracer unit, but I'm not 100% sure. This ring will come off. Just looking down it, I think there's a tracer, and there's definitely baffles. Maybe it's not a tracer unit. Maybe it is just a shush can. You know, it's just a shush can. You could definitely slip a tracer in there if you wanted to, but it's just a shush can. Cool. All right, and obviously that's going to cover the barrel. It's not going to do a whole lot just because obviously the barrel seems to go to like the end of this thing. With the G5, like I said, it's kind of reminiscent of the Evo. I think this is GHK's take on the Evo. It's got some really cool and very... Can I figure out how to get this on? Come on. Thread's messed up. I'm going the wrong way. Losing my mind. There we go. Okay. Let me put some thought. Let my brain start thinking for a second. Okay, so first of all, first thing I want to let you know is it's entirely polymer. And it feels extremely light. Like, honestly, this might be one of the lightest ARs that I've ever held in my hands. But it's smooth. It's definitely smooth. But it feels like a... in comparison to some other things that I've held, it feels like a piece of paper. I have some plans for this, and I want to get into that in a second and why I picked it up. Like I said, I spent $250 on this. For my plans, originally, I actually was hoping to HPA it. And I was speaking to Tap Airsoft because I knew I was picking one of these up. And they said they wanted to send over their HPA adapter, like the lower. And it's basically a total rebuild for the lower kit that takes Scorpion Evo mags, like the AEG Evo mags. And the reason I thought that would be so cool to check out is because the Evo mags have a mechanism in it, much like a lot of your GBBs, that will stop the bolt on empty, which is so cool. I'm not sure where the bolt stop on empty is on these. I think it's this, maybe? I don't know. Which is so cool for an AEG mag, and it keeps that realism form. One of the big things that I don't like about HPA and gas replicas is that you don't know when you're out of ammo besides sight. Like, it doesn't stop, so it takes that realism factor out of it. With that, you still have to, do the bolt release. You still have to charge the handle. Everything works like it should with real steel, so that's really cool. The G5 as a whole, from my understanding, is a pretty solidly built replica and for pretty cheap. One thing that I know is a lot of the receivers crack on some people's. Just taking a first look at this thing here. That's weird. I can't tell. I don't know if you could see that. I can't tell if the rail slightly tilts upwards or if the bottom rail slightly tilts downwards. But it looks like it almost rises a little bit. That's just, I don't know, it's just weird. Like, you see the, here? It almost gets, like, thinner down towards the side of the charging handle and thicker up towards the front. Okay, just the first look, we have the stock. The stock is all polymer, which is crazy. There's not even a rubber pad on the back, so it's definitely like a cheap stock. You just have to pull this lever down, and it'll allow you to move it into positions. It looks like we got 1, 2, 3 positions with the close. There's minimal wobble here. Honestly, there's really no wobble. When fully extended, there's very little wobble, but it's almost unnoticeable. The button to release the stock, and let's see, where does that clip in? It clips under here and on top of the stock, like that. Yeah, push it down, snap it out in place. When collapsed, I will say, I mean, I know it's polymer, so tolerances are a little bit more wiggly, like they allowed some more, like, wiggle room there because things will bend and squeeze, but that is pretty tight tolerances. Everything else should function pretty similar to like your regular M4s. You have your mag release, which is on the left side, and then your ambi one on the right for your index. You have ambidextrous fire controls. Safety stops the trigger. It's your semi and your auto, right? Yeah, that's your semi, and that's your auto, and that's obviously ambidextrous as well. There's a nice click, and there's not like a weird amount of wiggle there either. The tolerances there are pretty tight too. For the mags, they index nice and solid. Damn, GHK. That's tight. And that goes in so smooth. But it's tight. That reminds me a lot of the UMP 45. Charging handle is extremely smooth. It's pretty light. Little wiggle in that charging handle. You can lock that up to the side. You can also HK slap it. I don't know what the longevity is behind that. That is a plastic piece, so be careful. I don't know if aluminum runs through the inside of that or not. That's really cool. So you have your... That's totally backwards. I think he put that on backwards. That's got to be backwards, right? That's totally backwards. I feel like that's backwards. I'm going to see if we can't switch that. Is there another spot on the side? Oh, yeah, there's a spot for a driver. And it looks like these are windage and elevation adjustable, too. Oh, no, it goes from this side. There we go. Someone's probably going to yell at me in the comments if this isn't the right way to do it. And I'm just messing it up. That's got to be it, right? Flip up sights, flip forward. There we go. So we have our irons, which are, again, just all plastic. And it looks like they are... They're definitely windage adjustable. I'm not exactly sure how to windage adjust them. Huh. Maybe it's just this screw. Yeah, that's it. So that'll center that a little bit better. The sights are cheap and flimsy, as expected. Your front sight is actually integrated off the rail, which is cool. I love the look of that. This whole section's super cool. And that is, yes, elevation adjustable. You can just get those two prongs in there and unscrew it to lift that pin. Ton of rail space on the top, ton of rail space on the right and left, as well as the bottom. Not sure what these are for. I would assume some sort of sling attachment point. Or maybe they just hold the HopUp in place. Is there anything in there? No? Is there gas in these? There's no gas in these. All right, let's see if they hold gas. That's super important. The fill valves on the back. They definitely hold gas. Oh, no, we got leak. Where are we leaking from? I don't know where we're leaking from. Let me bleed that outside. I don't want that just leaking around in the house. Now let's check this one. I'm going to have to replace some O-rings. This one's definitely not leaking. Okay, so with black one, there's definitely an O-ring leaking. So we're going to have to check into that. Where's the bolt release on this thing? Does it have a bolt release? I don't see a bolt release. I guess you have to recharge the handle in order to release it. We'll test that out in a second. Let's check on the trigger. Oh, that's just that's a solid wall there. Brakes with some extra travel. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tight trigger. You can't really feel where the brake is going to be. It kind of just releases, but it gets tighter and tighter. You could feel like the spring tension under it. You reset. It's long. Definitely solid push forward. Trigger's mediocre. Definitely not the best thing in the world. Okay. That's weird. So with nothing in it, the bolt stop doesn't want to work. Or maybe the hammer stops? That's weird. I guess there's no bolt stop on the G5. Oh, there's a bolt stop. Interesting. So it stops when it fires it, and then it won't work. You just have to recharge the handle. Does that mean you can't dry fire it? You might not be able to dry fire this one. That's super interesting. There's no dry fire option. Weird. Okay. No problem. Just can't dry fire here. I do want to see if we can load the mags with the T238 loader. I honestly, if mags don't load with this thing, I get so upset because I've gotten spoiled recently. And this thing has made my life so easy that I can't bear going back to a regular speed loader sometimes. All right. These feed lips look a little thick. I'm worried about that. Sometimes the feed lips being thick, it kind of doesn't want to fit inside of here. Oh no, it fits. Can it get low enough? I don't know. I don't know. Didn't like that one. Oh, there we go. No, stop. Some mags get too aggressively tight, and then the speed loader just starts spitting them out. That's not the speed loader's fault. That's the mag's fault. But we loaded, if you look. I was 59. Might be able to handle a little bit more. Too bad. I got to figure out which O-ring is leaking here. I'm going to wind up pulling these out and changing them after, because I'm going to need these for testing, obviously. But yeah, so with the GHK G5, like I said, my original plans with this now are, we're going to do a review video on it. I may do the modification that's going to increase the stability and strength of the lower receiver. And then I want to throw on the TAP hybrid lower, and I want to see if we can pick up some Evo Mags and run that guy. So that'd be really cool. For now, that is the video on the GHK G5. Let me know if you're excited about this one. This is it's a cheap, it's affordable, and there's also a bullpup kit out there, so I don't know. I like bullpups. Maybe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.